Okay, all right, here we go. Let's see if I can do this real quick. Secrets of the gods and secrets of nature. Before the elaboration of the notion of nature, which I have briefly described, it was imagined that only the gods had access to the workings of visible and invisible things, which they hid from mankind. Already in the Odyssey, when Hermes teaches Odysseus how to recognize the phusis or appearance of the herb of life, he tells him, "It is not without effort that mortals can uproot it, but the gods can do everything." As Alcmaeon of Crotona complained in the 6th or 5th century BCE, both in the field of the invisible and in that of mortal things, the gods have immediate knowledge, but we, by our human condition, are reduced to conjectures. Divine secrets. This was true not only of theoretical knowledge, but also of knowledge concerning the most necessary things in life. In Homer, the gods possess Sophia, that is, know-how, or skill in the construction of objects that enable man to better his lot, whether boats, musical instruments, or techniques of metalworking. Whereas the gods, because of their knowledge, have an easy life, human beings have a hard life, since they are ignorant. As Hesiod says, thanks to Prometheus, human beings were able to snatch some secrets away from the gods. The gods have hidden what makes human beings live. Otherwise, without effort, it would suffice for you to work one day to harvest enough to live on for a year without doing anything. But Zeus hid it away. On the day when, his soul dark with anger, he was fooled by false-hearted Prometheus. From this day on, he prepared sad cares for men. He hid fire away from them. Yet once again, the brave son of Iapetus then stole it from Zeus for men in the hollow of Ferula, and he fooled the eye of the lightning-launching god. For Plato himself, the secret of natural processes is inaccessible to man, who has no technical means for discovering it. Speaking of colors, he declares, but should someone make an experimental test of these facts, he would display his ignorance of the difference between man's nature and God's, that whereas God is sufficiently wise and powerful to blend the many into one and to dissolve again the one into many, there exists not now, nor ever will exist hereafter, a human being sufficient for either of these tasks. This concept was to reappear several times in antiquity, for instance, in Seneca, who, speaking of the various theories that have been imagined concerning comets, declares, "Are they true? Only the gods know, who possess the science of the true." In the passage that follows this, he considers that our ignorance of natural processes is merely a particular case of our ignorance with regard to divine things, and especially to the supreme God. The idea of secrets of nature, which I'm about to discuss, did not, moreover, cause the disappearance of the idea of divine secrets. We encounter it once again, particularly at the beginning of the 17th century, at the height of the mechanistic revolution, when for various reasons, philosophers and scholars both hoped to discover the secrets of nature by means of the experimental method and admitted the existence of one impenetrable secret, that of the omnipotent will of God. Nature's secrets. After the emergence of the philosophical notion of nature, people no longer spoke of divine secrets, but rather of the secrets of nature. Gradually, personified nature herself became the guardian of these secrets. Owing to the personification of nature, the difficulty of knowing nature was considered to be somehow explained by the personal behavior of nature, which seeks to conceal itself and is jealous of its secrets. This was to make possible a new interpretation of Heraclitus's aphorism 123, "Nature loves to hide." The notion of a secret of nature thus appears at a relatively late date, in the 1st century BCE, and primarily in Latin writers, yet they in turn had certainly found it in their Greek models, whether Stoic, Epicurean, or Platonist. For instance, Cicero, following the Platonist Antiochus of Ascalon, speaks of things that have been hidden and enveloped by nature herself. Lucretius affirms that jealous nature has hidden the spectacle of atoms from our view, and elsewhere that Epicurus robbed nature of all the veils that concealed her, or else that he has forced the tightly closed gates of nature. Ovid says that Pythagoras has discovered by the eyes of the heart what nature refused to human eyes. With regard to the planets, Pliny the Elder's Natural History speaks of the secrets of nature and of the laws to which she has subjected herself. The secrets of nature are secrets in various senses. In the case of some of them, they can be said to correspond to the invisible aspects of nature. Some are invisible because they are so distant in space or in time. Others are inaccessible because of their extreme smallness, like Epicurus's atoms, of which Lucretius says that jealous nature has hidden the spectacle of atoms from our view, or else because they are hidden within bodies or the earth. In the words of Cicero, All that Lucullus remains hidden, veiled and wrapped in thick darkness, so that no gaze of the human mind is potent enough to penetrate the sky or to enter into the earth. We know we have a body, but we know nothing of the exact place occupied by our organs. This is why doctors have carried out dissections in order to see this emplacement of the organs. As the empiricist physicians say, however, the organs are no better known, for it may be that if they are uncovered and deprived of their envelopes, they are modified. The secrets of nature can thus be considered invisible parts, which escape observation, but which have an influence on visible phenomena. Moreover, forced and violent observation, as Cicero hints, following the empiricist physicians, risks disturbing the phenomena it wishes to study. This was to be a traditional argument of thinkers hostile to experimentation. In addition, invisible things can become visible, like comets, which, as Seneca remarks, appear only rarely, and of those with withdrawal we are unaware when they are hidden. However, he continues, these are not the only realities in the universe that escape our sight. Many other beings remain unknown to us, or perhaps a still greater wonder. They both fill our eyes and escape them. Are they so subtle that the human eye cannot perceive them? Or is their majesty hidden in a retreat too sacred for men, and do they rule their domain from there, that is to say, themselves, inaccessible to all except to the mind? How many animals are known to us only since today? How many objects of which our century itself has no idea? Yet the secrets of nature are also the inexplicable phenomena for which we cannot count. Their causes remain hidden, either because, being material, they remain invisible on account of their smallness, like the atoms of Democritus or Epicurus, or else because they have an existence of an intelligible order, like Plato's ideas or Aristotle's forms. Platonists, Epicureans, and Stoics agreed in recognizing that sensible phenomena have causes that are not the effect of divine caprice. Speaking of earthquakes, Seneca declares, the gods play no part in these accidents, and the convulsions of the sky and the earth are not the effects of their anger. These phenomena have their own causes. Ignorance is the cause of our terrors. Therefore, is it not worthwhile to know in order not to fear? Ah, how much better it is to search for causes. Let us therefore search for what comes from the depths to shake the earth. Ultimately, whether it has to do with phenomena that are inexplicable or hard to perceive, or again with causes, and in particular with unknown secret forces, the idea of secrets of nature always presupposes an opposition between the visible, what appears, or the phenomenon, and what is hidden beyond that appearance, or the invisible. We encounter this opposition, moreover, from the beginnings of Greek thought. On the one hand, as I have already suggested, the first Greek thinkers insist on the difficulty we experience in knowing the things that are hidden from us, adela, in Greek. On the other hand, they consider that the phenomena can reveal hidden things to us, according to the saying formulated by Anaxagoras, and Democritus, and repeated throughout antiquity, particularly among the Epicureans. What appears makes visible what is hidden. In Greek, opsis edelon ta phenomena. As Hans Diller has shown, we can recognize here the beginning of a scientific method that proceeds by analogical reasoning. Aristotle in particular was always to remain faithful to this method, which consists in concluding from visible effects to an invisible cause and not the reverse. For instance, by means of the study of the concrete behavior of human beings, we can draw conclusions concerning the essence of the human soul. Nature as secret. The attentive study of a specific phenomenon may lead to the discovery of another phenomenon, more or less hidden, that determines it. At least for the Stoics, however, the great secret of nature remained the interaction of all causes in the cosmic process in general, or the organic all, and the determining action of the primary cause, or of nature, the creator, the artist, and the producer of the cosmos, in other words, ultimately, of God himself, with whom they identified nature. In this regard, Seneca remarked, what that principle is without which nothing exists, we cannot know. We are surprised at our poor knowledge of tiny particles of fire, the comets, whereas the greatest thing in the world, God, is hidden from us. The great secret of nature is thus nature herself, that is, the invisible reason or force, of which the visible world is only the external manifestation. It is this invisible nature that loves to hide or conceal itself from human view. Nature thus has a twofold aspect. It shows itself to our senses in the rich variety of the spectacle presented to us by the living world and the universe, and at the same time it conceals itself behind appearances in its most essential profound, and effective part. The secrets of nature in the Middle Ages and in modern times. This metaphor of the secrets of nature appearing in the Hellenistic period was to dominate research on nature, physics, and the natural sciences for nearly 2 millennia. In an extremely interesting work, William Eamon has studied the fortunes of this concept in the Middle Ages and the beginning of the modern period. From the 15th to the 17th centuries, this tradition was perpetuated. Titles of works alluding to the secrets or the marvels of nature were extremely numerous. This may have been due to the extraordinary success enjoyed throughout the Middle Ages by a work translated from the Arabic and falsely attributed to Aristotle, the Secretum Secretorium, or Secret of Secrets. Be that as it may, all kinds of work entitled Secrets of Nature or Wonders of Nature propose medical, alchemical, or magical recipes. This literature takes its place in the context of a long tradition that developed as early as antiquity, especially from the 2nd century BCE on, which proposed a science whose goal was to discover the secrets and wonderful forces of the beings of nature, that is, their physeus, their occult properties and virtues, as well as the relations of sympathy and antipathy that derive from this physeus in the three kingdoms. Men, beasts, plants, and stones, including metals, are henceforth considered mere carriers of mysterious forces, and therefore charged with curing all pains and illnesses, and with ensuring wealth, happiness, honors, and magical power for man. This tradition manifested itself in particular in the form of collections of mirabilia, or strange and extraordinary natural phenomena. We know this literature, which seems to go back to Bolos of Mendes, around 200 BCE, above all from extracts or allusions in later authors such as Pliny the Elder, in whom sympathies and antipathies play a considerable role. Precisely at the time of the flourishing of science in the 17th and 18th centuries, as Eamon has shown in the same work, modern science, as the heir in the sense to the occult sciences and magic, was to assign itself precisely the goal of unveiling the secrets of nature. As the objects of the philosophical physics, but also of the pseudosciences in antiquity and the Middle Ages, they were to become in this way the object of the new physics, mathematics, and mechanics. Francis Bacon, for instance, declared that nature unveils her secrets only under the torture of an experimentation. And Pascal was to say, the secrets of nature are hidden. The experiments that give us intelligence thereof are continually multiplied. And since they are the only principles of physics, the consequences are multiplied proportionally. One could also cite Gassendi, who calls objects that are not directly observable, but are linked to certain phenomena that are observable, re natura occulte. Res natura occulte, I think that's Latin, things hidden by nature, thus taking up a formula from Cicero. It was not until the course of the 19th century that this metaphor gradually ceased to be used, while at the same time, the concept of a divine builder faded out of scientific discourse. Among philosophers and artists, it yielded its place, as we shall see later on, to the notion of the mystery of the world, of being, or of existence.